Personally, I love theme parks. They feel exciting and full of adventure, and I think everyone has visited one before, right? It's like a ritual at schools to have class trips that take you to a theme park. Sadly, I haven't been to one in a while, and maybe you can change that by giving the video a like, or you can also subscribe, and then we can go to a theme park together. You would have to pay for it though. I would pay for the ice cream at least, that makes it worth, right? As a kiddo, I loved playing Theme Park World and to a lesser degree the first two Roller Coaster Tycoon games. They're the true kings in the simulation genre of theme park games, but what they lacked for me was a way to ride your own rides. Till the series went 3D, and for most people that was the downfall, but I enjoyed the third one because it finally allowed you to ride your own rides, just like Theme Park World. There's just something so satisfying about building a crazy roller coaster and being able to see it for yourself instead of watching others riding your ride. I'm a cuck who enjoys seeing their wife getting railed by other people, and that makes me feel less of a cuck than building a roller coaster in a video game that I can't ride myself. Nowadays there's games like Planet Coaster or Park Beyond if you want to have a modern theme park simulation game, so that genre of games is still alive. But what if you want a completely unique roller coaster experience? That's what Mad Panic Coaster is. Instead of building your own rides or managing a theme park with them, you take control of a couple, or maybe they're brother and sister, maybe they're also just friends, I have no idea. You can make up your own headcanon. My headcanon in this game is that you don't actually control the girl or the boy, and instead you are some ghost who took control of the ride and try to not let them die. That kinda rhymed. Because, well, the game has zero story really, and that's in one way a good thing because the game never came out outside of Japan, so I would have no idea about the story anyway since I can't speak or read Japanese sadly. But really, there's nothing like a story at all. The intro cutscene is just a band playing the music, and then you get greeted by an ugly menu and have to choose your stage, and then the game already begins. It's a bit weird how the menu has so little soul in it, while the rest of the game has so much of it. But if you take a look into the manual of the game that you can find online, I still can't speak Japanese, you can see some images where you can kinda guess what the story is. For example, this is the island where the game takes place, and the kids are somehow here for no reason, or there must be a reason. And on these two pages, we can kinda see that this guy burned to death, then became the zombie doctor dude who built the theme park or turned the theme park into a monster theme park. And now he's like trying to get revenge on the rich guy who maybe owned the park, who didn't pay for the safety, and now he wants to kill him. I have no idea, but that chick has some big tits. You get thrown into the first stage and holy fuck, does it go fast. Imagine F-Zero, but you control a roller coaster cart and it's not really a race. You have to try to not fall off the stage or driving into enemies or getting hit by their projectiles, and also trying not to fall into holes on the track, and also not trying to hit things that will try to block your road like rolling logs or rocks. There are so many things trying to murder you, and one of them is you having to learn how to control your cart. Your first few tries will look like this. You press left and fall off on the left side. You press right and fall off on the right side. But eventually you get the hang out of it, and damn, is it fun. The X button makes you jump, and the other buttons will make you think they all do the same thing, but it's one, kinda. While all the other buttons make you throw a bomb to hit enemies with, the actual difference is their throwing length. The circle button throws it right in front of you, the triangle button throws it farther, and the square button just slams it all the way to the back. That's your main way of beating enemies, and adds another chaotic gameplay mechanic to the game, where you have to pay attention with how far enemies are away and all of that. There's so much variety when it comes to the designs of the tracks and the world around them. You start in a little spooky castle that reminds you of the local fair with its spooky ghost coaster, then there's a lush forest, a crazy mushroom world, the ocean where you go under the water, the inside of a whale, New York, a toy house, and more. But this game has one of the worst ice levels I have ever experienced in a video game. You're already trying your hardest to not fall down and stuff in the other levels, but this one puts the icing on the cake. I'm such a joker. Your car just glides around so much and you don't get a single second of staying still. Just a tiny tap will send your car flying from the left to the right and vice versa. Luckily it's the only ice stage in the whole game. But despite the super fast gameplay that sometimes won't allow you to react in time when you ride the tracks for the first time, or the horrible ice level, it never feels frustrating, mostly to the short length of the tracks and unlimited continues. Just because you died doesn't mean you have to start all over again, because then I would have never been able to beat it. I would recommend setting save states after the ascent of every track though, because it takes a while to ascend it again after you died, and having to go through the game over screen over and over also is a little bit annoying, and you will die a lot, so. It's the kind of game where you have to play the tracks a few times to know what's coming up so you can react accordingly. Really rarely though, I one-shotted a track on my first try and it feels amazing. Every track also has one gem that you can collect that gives you back 1 bar of health, and some tracks also have shortcuts that make the track extremely short, but they can be quite tricky to get. There's one nefarious track later in the game where you have to choose the right tracks or else you will just drive lap after lap without letting them count. The word nefarious always reminds me of that SpongeBob episode with Nosferatu and the hash-slinging slinger. What a great episode. Nosferatu made me piss my pants as a kid and gave me nightmares. So also thanks for that, SpongeBob. Also in Germany, the name of the hash-slinging slinger is way better. Here, he's called the Hackfleisch-hassende Zahacker, the mincemeat-hating chopper. Don't tell me that doesn't sound cool as fuck. And there's a lot of choppers or other monsters in the game, and the monster designs are amazing and full of soul, like the zombies doing the thriller dance. The whole game gives you that 90s radical vibe with its style. Makes sense since it was made in the 90s. I'm getting old. After you beat the game, you even get a closer look at the enemy designs in the credits, like in Super Mario World. Just look at these designs. A sexy woman with sheep that she throws at you, latex Red Riding Hood, crazy bunny with cut off paws, a dog cop with horse legs and a fat bulge. Amazing. Sadly, it doesn't show the bosses because the game has those too. After every 2 normal levels, you get a third stage in each world where you go around in a short loop and then you get to fight against the boss, either surviving another 3 laps while the boss throws stuff at you, or you throw bombs at the boss and kill them before these 3 rounds are over. Pretty cool that you get 2 ways to kill the boss or beat them. And the crazy deer boss that throws nuts at you is really cute, but you would normally expect a squirrel to throw nuts at you, I guess. Fuck the final boss though, what a spongy freak that makes you hope it will be over soon because he's a hacking tank. Looks extremely hard, but just annoying. If you don't like the game, you can also just use the game as a soundtrack CD and listen to the music when you go into the Sound Garage option in the menu and listen to the Mad Panic coasters and their cool punky music that could be the soundtrack to a Tony Hawk's game. Also, it got cool as heck guitars. Look at that cat guitar or the pizza one. If I could play guitar, I would get one like that and headbang like that skeleton friend. If you're on the lookout for a game that goes fast and isn't afraid of kicking your ass, I would recommend you this full-heartedly. That's how we say it, right? Or if you're looking for a game that is just so unique and it makes you want to find out something new about yourself. It makes me want to travel around the world and ride every single roller coaster that exists, but sadly none of them could probably give you the thrill of falling off the coaster, probably. Because if a roller coaster like that existed, I would actually not ride it because I still want to live a little bit longer. But it would be a cool way to go to the next world. So maybe when I'm like 80 years old, I will bribe someone at the theme park to let me ride it without any security stuff and have my last ride. I hope you enjoyed the video just as much as I love riding roller coasters. See you next time and have yourself a good one. Or I can show you the amazing screen you get after beating the game. Have a nice day. Look at those dogs. Oh, and also, you get a special picture at the end of the game depending on the score you got, I think. I got this cute picture of the girl in a cute beer outfit, while when I looked up the speedrun of it on YouTube, the speedrunner got a bikini shot. I think I got the better deal here. It's more unique, you know.